Hey guys, the sun is setting. I'm hoping to catch the last orange rays to show you this nice orange G10 handle on my SE3. I got this SE3 I think late spring this year, early summer, late spring I would guess, because I have the SE4 and I have heard so many great things about the SE3. Now, ESEE is one of my favorite knife making companies. And that is for a few reasons. Number one, I've had very good experiences with the SE4, then with the Honglas, now with the 3, and I also have a 5. So one could say I am a big fan of ESEE. That is because of the good experiences and because of the fact that they have that no questions asked warranty. Anything you do to it will replace it except for rust, which makes sense because this is 1095 steel, which will rust. I have had less problems with 1095 rusting than I've had with 01. So, I don't know. That means none of my SEs have ever had rust on it. A slight patina, yes, but no rust. My 01s and my A2, I have had a few stains of rust, not patina, but no problems with this one. I did buy this knife used, and that sort of explains the color pattern. I am not much one for blaze orange, but it was for a good price. It was almost brand new. The coating was intact, the grind, the edge was factory, the factory edge. And the first thing I did, which is the first thing that I do with all my knives, is I modified the edge angle. Now ESEE on their site gives the edge angle for most of their knives at about a 20-degree per side edge angle, which I found to be not true. My SE4 was about a 30-35 degree per side, and the SE4 from a friend of mine, which he asked me to modify, was once again about a 30 to 35 degree per side. This one was much closer to 20 degree per side, but I've also changed this one. I've stropped it and I started working with it, and I liked it. The only thing I wasn't crazy about was the G10. I am very much used to my SE4, which has my Carta handle scales, which do feel very good in hand. Now G10 and my Carta will both be cold. Right now it's about 4 degrees and they're both cold. But this one feels better in hand. I feel like it has a certain give to it, although it doesn't. And it just sits very well in my hand. Now, part of the reason might have been that this blade is 3.2 millimeters thick. The handle scales are the same thickness as the SE4 handle scales, which leads to this handle being a bit thinner. A friend of mine corrected that. He put a couple of blue liners between the tang and the handle scales, and now it's about the same thickness as the 4. However, it still does not feel as good as the 4 does for me in hand. I feel this much more stable, even if I'm not cutting with it, just squeezing it in my hand. When I'm cutting, this one does feel more stable because of the added weight, I would say, and the handle material. Same knife, same, but different. You can see 4 inches blade length, 3 inches blade length, 3.2 millimeters thick spine, 5 millimeters thick spine. Shape, the same. Choil, very good. I like this one. There's more steel there, doesn't bother my finger. This one I don't really use. And for splitting wood, this one does excellent. And I mean splitting, not cutting. The SE3 does have an advantage over the SE4 when it comes to splitting wood. You can control your split. So if you're splitting softer woods, you can really control the split. It will go almost the way you want it to go. The 4, because of the 5mm thick spine, will just split the wood. So that is an advantage, but the disadvantage is the 3-inch blade. And I have batoned this knife a lot, not as much as my 4, but a lot. And I found that I was always going with the wood up to here, and it didn't do so well. That is because of the short blade length. So it's not the best knife for batoning, although it can take just about anything you can throw at it. Now the extra liners that were added here help with handle thickness. They really do make a difference. It's 1.8mm added. It really does make a difference. But the screws are the old screws, which are hanging in there by 1.5, 2 threads. And I would have to exchange those for longer screws in order to feel safe with it. Because I did baton this. I was doing a bit of cross-grain batoning, just testing, and this screw came loose and I couldn't find it for about half an hour. It was not the best way to spend half an hour out here. Loctite would help the problem. It would, however, not solve it, in my opinion. And also, I think this was meant to be a small, all-around knife, which it is, and it fits that role very well, in my opinion. And without the added liners, even more so. Feels different in hand than the 4. As it is right now, it feels the same as the 4, but with less grip. Without the liners, it feels different. Very weird, and I think I like it that way more. Now, I did give this to a friend of mine for about a month, and he did anything he wanted. I told him, if you break it, don't worry, ESEE will replace it. So he did baton it. He told me he got it into a piece of wood, and the knife does bend. So does the 4, but it didn't break. I tried to pry a piece of wood that I split up to, I don't know, this much, and I tried to pry with it. It did bend, but it didn't break. Always good. And after a month, I got it back from him. I told him, I asked him not to sharpen it on stones. He merely stropped it when he felt it was getting a bit dull. I got it from him. I stropped it a couple of times, and it was shaving. Same as my ESEE 4. No surprise there, but a pleasant thing to notice. I really like the knife. Not crazy about the colors, but like I said, it was worth it for me for the price. And not crazy about the G10. I could switch out the handle scales from my 4 on my 3. I don't want to do that because I kind of like the way my 4 is, and my ESEE 4 is pretty much the go-to knife. Whatever I have to do, I'm really not worried. I mean, you can watch the tests I put the 4 through, and if it could handle those, I doubt that it would break doing anything else. Same with the 3. I see it in that role, a small all-around knife, possibly an EDC knife for some people, and I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is the sheath. If they gave the 4 such an awesome Kydex sheath, in my opinion, the best production Kydex sheath on the market, why do they still give the 3 this sheath? And I've seen the new stainless steel ESEE 4 model, and it seems like it has this sort of sheath. The sheath does an excellent job keeping the knife in. It won't fall, it does not rattle. You can have this as a neck carry, no problem. Right now, I keep it in my pocket, and I close the pocket on top of it. No way it's going to come out. So all around, very satisfied with the ESEE 3. I did hear stories about what an awesome, fantastic slicer it is. I wouldn't go so far. A Mora Companion will outdo it any day. But then again, you have the design, which I think is very pleasing to the eye, the nice blade shape, and well, it's not a Mora. A Mora is a good working knife. This, I think, has that, but has other benefits. So it's not this amazing slicer, but it's one of the better slicers out in the, I don't know, hunting, tactical, survival knife world. I will add a few clips from me testing the knife, which is something I like to do. I like to film myself when I get a new knife, because through the camera sometimes I will pick up things that I don't notice while I'm working. For example, the fact that the blade was hanging in the choil when I was splitting wood. I noticed that for the first time on the camera. I was in a rush, I was working with it, I wasn't testing, so I wasn't paying that much attention, and I noticed it on video. So I'll try to cut that and keep it as short as possible for you guys if you care to watch that. And I hope you like it. So, hope you like the knife, and I'll talk about it. If you have any questions about it, just ask me in the comment section, and I will answer them as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the video so far. I'd like to thank you for watching, and as always, I wish you all a great day.